Hello and welcome to the Cow Corner Dugout. Here we are. We're getting started as the CSK SRH game is sitting on a knife's edge. 54 required of 5 overs. That was a situation not too long ago, like a minute back. And right now, we've just lost a wicket. And it's an important wicket for CSK. Matt shot 34 of 30 balls. But to discuss all of that, we have quite a few people. But first, the usual suspect, Neerav. Welcome, Neerav.
I
Why are you so
finally a
silent,
good
Neerav?
thrilling game. I think
Is there something?
in the thrilling game in the afternoon, and then I think
We,
this
we
one is
had we had
also
like a day doing in the afternoon too. Exactly.
I mean,
Now I can see Kavya Maran being very happy right now. Um,
as she should
and
be.
CSK, I think are I don't know. They had a good start and 148 for six. Now this is where CSK's tail actually gets tested.
Well, their best batter is yet to walk out. I mean, he's walking out now. Um,
Jamie
he's been the
Overton.
most consistent, steady batter. I mean, who's looks like he's going to score runs and not get out. Um, yeah, but
And it's not like I
there's
think
been a
Anshul Kamboj also. Hmm.
can and Sri Kamboj
Batter.
can bat a bit. Yeah, I mean, like he's a decent lower order. I mean, in the Bhuvaneshwar Kumar category at least, if not better. He's decent. I think couple of more than a couple of first class hundreds. So he can. So there's a pattern which is common
So
to
you drive
the
a Skoda, is it?
both.
There's a Skoda Cup. You
Yeah,
drive a Skoda.
Skoda was the sponsor of Breakfast with Champions a couple of
Initial
years ago.
sponsor for BWC.
Uh,
Okay, okay, okay. So
So
here we
yeah,
are. Welcome to all
the
of the
one
30 people
memorabilia,
who are on the stream right now. Memorabilia.
one memorabilia from left from
Welcome
that
to all of the
season.
30, 31. As okay, we are at 149 for six in the 16th over. I'm waiting to see what Shivam Dubey is able to do. Uh, Dubey has been, I think he apart from that 1-6, Dubey has been fairly quiet. I don't know if the pitch is slowing down because we see that under due usually, and Ishan Malinga has been executing some of his deliveries very well. I don't think CSK has anything alarming. I know it's 11 run per over target right now at the current state, where I think CSK is about 149 per six, chasing 194. That's 45 to get a 4 overs. Should be a routine thing in the park, but if they lose a wicket here and there, that's where CSK are going to get. It's going to be a little tougher for CSK to do it. But I
Yeah,
think we'll speak on on the second game first, and then we'll come back to the first game that happened, which was like a good thriller, which went right down to the penultimate ball. But this game, I think we've seen both the teams score 74, 75 in the power play, and both teams have slowed down in the middle. Do you see that as a pattern, or is it just that maybe well they were just chancing their round too much, and the upcoming batters didn't really have they just couldn't go at the same rate.
so there, I mean, the two innings were different in the sense that um, Sunrisers got away without losing wickets. They lost 2 wickets at the end of the power play, and that's what actually curtailed them. But if you look at the 10 over score, they were still 112, 113, which is a very good score. What started happening was, if I remember correctly, as following the match, is wickets started to fall thereafter. And I found an interesting
Mhm.
pattern in CSK's bowling as well, in the sense that there was from over number 7 onwards, there was Noor overturned Gurjanpreet, Noor overturned Gurjanpreet, Noor overturned Gurjanpreet, Noor over Gurjanpreet. So it was like a repeating pattern of these three guys bowling, in sets of three. So nobody actually bowled one spell in that sense. So they were bowling every third over, or every fourth over rather. So that was a pattern, and in that every alternate guy was getting a wicket. So in the sense that I think 11th over 1 wicket fell, then 13th over 1 wicket fell, then 15th over 2 wickets fell. So I think what happened here was Sunrisers kept losing wickets, and then what started happening thereafter was that there was one boundary and nothing else, right? So it was they started becoming 4 and 7
Right.
run overs, 4 and 2 singles, 4 and 3 singles, or 6 and 2 singles. So 7 run overs, and then the more they lost wickets, then it became a situation where they had to, you know, uh, do their best to finish. And finally, everybody went. Like everybody who got a bit of a start, Salil Arora, Nitish Reddy, Henrik Klassen, they all started getting out, and therefore the momentum breaks. So I think they ended up, I would imagine 25 to 30. I don't know if it's under par, but definitely under what they would have wanted to be. I think where they would have been at a 10
Right.
over mark or a 12 over mark, you typically look to double your 12 over score, if not your 11th over score, right? So I think based on that, they should have been in the
Right.
220, 220, 225 range. And then what I also noticed was that it's a very similar pattern to what happened in the first game, because RCB's innings was exactly that. They were also 70 odd in the power play, right? Losing one wicket, but then wickets again till 10th over, everything was going fine, and then wickets every alternate over. So so suddenly there's a stranglehold combined with good bowling. So having said that, Anshul Kamboj delivered a couple of great overs. Jamie Overton delivered a couple of great overs
Amazing.
between 14 and 20. So there was a lot of breaking of the momentum for the batting team. And similar thing happened in the Delhi innings, where Delhi, I think they bowled really well as a pack. You can't single out one bowler, because I think all six of them had a good day. Such a good day that, as you commented, that how come man, Natarajan didn't get a second, third over, because it was like, when do you give him more over? Because
Right.
everybody
Right.
else is bowling well, right? So you push. I thought maybe they won't give Kuldeep the fourth over and bring in Natarajan, but Kuldeep, I think, took a wicket in his third over, so they gave him the fourth, and which actually worked out to be a very economical over. And coming back to this game, I think Sunrisers would have been very unhappy with where they finished. And see, also their bowling lineup isn't the most convincing. Yes, these two debutants got away with it, or rather had a good run of it against RR in the last game. But at the end of it, they are untested domestic bowlers, right? I mean, inexperienced, untested domestic bowlers. And
Right.
today you saw whatever the mathematical term is, deviation to the medium, or whatever it is, deviation to the mean. And he's at 3 overs for 50, right?
Deviation.
So
You're talking
you
about
know, so
Praful Hingi?
I'm talking about Praful. So it happens. I mean, that
Praful Hingi.
one day for Sakib has been a little better today, in the sense that he has been mixing it up very. I don't think Praful is more than a one-dimensional bowler at this point. I haven't seen much of him. That day I saw him bowl 3 overs in the power play, and I didn't see what he does not coming back. But I think Sakib is a little more multi-dimensional bowler. Has got a few different variations up his sleeve. So he can bowl the wide Yorker. He can bowl the straight leg stump Yorker. He can bowl the short one, and back of length is his good go-to ball. So
And as
he's a
you
little
say
more.
that, he is bowling the 17th over to Jamie
Just
Overton, and it's been a good over so far. No boundaries, and he's been able to keep them quiet, which I think, and I can see Varun Aaron's happiness. Sometimes it feels like the bowling coach is essentially like the uh, back room. I mean, they're like the teacher, right? The in like a guru shishya relationship on television, being very happy seeing how their kids perform.
mm,
And I remember him, he was hyping up Praful Hinge when he was brought on television to say that, okay, now I think this was when Sanju Samson got out to Reddy, and he said Praful Hinge
mhm.
is going to come and take another wicket here. So I can see that happiness or confidence is there, but today wasn't as much as Praful's day. We've seen Reddy, pick wickets. We've
Reddy
also
was the
seen,
star
the other
performer, I would say.
bowlers
Yeah,
pick.
Reddy has been the star performer today by
Reddy's
quite a
come
margin.
along.
He's two
Oh
good overs in the
man,
power play.
this Dubey is gone. Sakib's got another wicket.
All right.
Middle stump out, and I think CSK. This is where it ends for
So
CSK. 154 for
again,
seven,
I don't know yet, because again a
and
repeating pattern to what happened in the first game. Because DC also looked, again, it was 50 odd of 5 overs. It suddenly became 35 of two, or 37 for two of two. So
DC
that happened with
had the batting with Miller
with
and
Miller and Stubbs. Yeah, so
the
they
other
had
guy
lost
was
less wickets. Stubbs was there. So yes, they lost far fewer wickets, but I think here the situation is also, it was perfectly fine. 60 of 10 overs. I mean, 60 of 6 overs at 10 and over, and then two good overs means it looks like they bottled it. So I would still say Jamie Overton can can deliver them. I mean, that's your best bet, because he's the only guy now, I think, who has to do it. So I
he
have
is
a
the only
feeling that,
guy. I think the others he
yeah,
just has to
I,
farm
I, I don't know what the bowling
the
card is.
strike.
I'm going to have a look at the bowling card and who's got overs in spare. So that also matters, right? because that's what
Who's got
RCB
overs? Let's take a quick look.
DC ended up choking on, right? Because they bowled their better bowlers out, and then they were stuck with the last over.
So
So
there's one of
Shivang is
Nitish
it?
Reddy, and
Yeah,
Sakib is finishing his spell.
and there's
Shivang
one of Malinga.
has one over, but
So
will
there's
they
one of
bowl
Malinga.
spin?
I
Yeah, there's
doubt
one
it.
of Ishan
So
Malinga.
it's Hinge, Malinga. So Malinga has been bowling reasonably well today. In fact, he's got 3 wickets for 19. He's been hitting his
Three wickets,
lengths
yes.
yeah, pretty good. Um, I mean, two are good catches, so I don't know how much you can credit the bowlers for. But yeah, so 19 runs of 3 overs is a good outing. And oh, there is Noor also, right? If you forgot, the Noor can swing a bit. Noor delivered South Africa, the Afghanistan
Swing a
into the
bit,
super
but I
over.
think CSK have now hit that. Yeah, to me, I'm right now a little doubtful. 155 for 7 after 17. It's going to take a great innings from Overton, who's just coming to
Yeah.
bat, 40 of 3 overs. So I'm curious to see how CSK is going to go. They've got Ishan Malinga to finish his spell now. He's bowling his
Hmm.
fourth, and he's been the
So if
standout
they
pick.
can, I mean, they have to
I remember last.
take it to the last over with these two batters intact. I think that's their only way. 17 to 18, maybe even 20 of the last over is possible because which is what DC ended up doing, right? With RCB, they knew that there was that one over. So if that one over is going to Praful Inge and it's the last over, then that's the one they have to go after. So if Malinga is bowling out, then they potentially have 2 overs of Reddy and Inge, and they need to. So
Reddy
it
one
has to be
over, right?
Overton.
1 over of Reddy. Reddy's also bowled three.
So
So yeah. So it has to be
Reddy and
Overton
Hinge,
taking on.
Reddy and Hinge in the last two.
Wait, this is the 18th over. So there is one more over of Reddy, one more over of Hinge, one more over of the
That's it.
spinner, which they will not bowl.
Yeah,
Shivang, they'll
yeah,
probably not bowl.
I doubt they'll. Yeah, I doubt that.
And
So
CSK is it timing the ball? I think after the ninth, 10th over, the way Sarfaraz was playing, CSK
mhm,
didn't have. I think CSK scored like 24 for 2 in a 5 over spell then I think they're
mhm.
not really able to time the ball, which is where I'm getting the feeling that the wickets got tougher to bat. Despite I don't know if Dew is technically on there, but it's definitely got tougher to bat.
I mean, there seems to be due because there
Tough
are
spot
towels
to
out.
be.
There are towels out and about amongst the fielders.
CSK probably lost really too many wickets to if they at least had wickets in hand, they could have gone
Yeah,
aggressive. Oh, almost bowled, run out. Oh, they missed the run out. They missed the bowl. They missed the run out. There could have been curtains for CSK. And it's happened like this
still in
on
it,
April
still in it.
18th before in 1986, where Azhar almost had the chance to run out Tausif, the other batsman, if you remember the India
Mhm.
Pakistan Australasia Cup. And Javed
Yeah.
Miandad went on to hit that last ball six. So I'm going to take this as divine intervention, Kudrat ka Nizam, the way Jamie Overton, the run out was missed.
Whatever you can do to make it work. Yeah, but the question is, where was Overton running to? I mean, he saw the ball. He saw it going straight into Salil Arora's wicketkeeper's hands. Just I'm wondering where he was off to.
He's placed the
I
ball
just
well
just
at
just
fourth. Finally, Jamie Overton's got a boundary. I
for a
think
split
Overton
second.
should be able to do it. I can see very tense spaces in CSK, but I thought the way they had a good start. Ruturaj Gaikwad had that opportunity to cement plain innings. I think he was more intent on playing like an aggressive game when bouncers were bowled at him because there was this unsuccessful review for for a ball that went above his head. He appealed for a wide. And then he went chasing something very similar, but the ball just didn't come on, and then it got the edge. I thought it was a great opportunity for Ruturaj, but it wasn't the case because CSK would have liked somebody to anchor that innings. Oh, again misfield from Ishan Kishan.
So
I think
there
there are
is
quite a few
something to be
misfields
said with
with Sunrisers.
there's something to be
Said with
said about the break in play which happened in the sixth over with Matre the first time he called on the physio for his hamstring. I think it was it
Mhm.
no, it was in the fifth over. So Matre was running a single and he got a hamstring. So they called in the physio. There was a break in play. Then he played one more ball and called the physio again. And then I think he decided that he will stay on.
Right,
And then I think the very next ball he
right.
got out. So I think the passage of play in that, in that must have been a 10-minute period where only 2 3 balls were bowled. and Rituraj was on the non-strikers and threw out
Right.
for 1 over, and then and then he got out the very first ball of the next over. So I think maybe that is a these are things which disrupt your concentration. You have a good thing going, and suddenly, because when Matre and Rituraj were batting at 50 of 4.5 overs, it looked like a walk in the park, right? It was looking like, okay, if these two bowlers are not going to do any damage, then who else will? So, despite I think Nitish Reddy had one good over where he got the wicket of Sanju Samson and didn't give away many runs. Despite that, they were still at 11s and 12s. So I think in that situation, suddenly things go wrong, and then suddenly 2 wickets have fallen. The pressure is fully on the batting side, right, on the chasing side. So then that we're at whatever 60 for three or whatever it is, 76, 75 for three. Then it still looks like you still have to get 120
Mm.
runs, right? So it looks like a long way ahead.
Right.
Um, but what happens is in these situations now, if Overton can get away one or two fours or sixes, then the pressure squarely reverts on the bowler, right? Because any loose ball, it's going for four or six.
It,
And
and that brings me to a
so
question right
Sunrisers
now. When
taking
I
the
see
punt.
Nitish
At,
Reddy bowl, of course.
they've
Mhm.
taken the punt on bowling Nitish Reddy and saying that, okay, keep it low and make it more than 20 in the last over. And Praful Hinge, with his experience, he will handle the pressure of 20 to defend. But right now it's 30.
Right.
So Nitish Reddy has to have a great over. Because if it comes down to 14, 15 of the last over, CSK is getting it with a inexperienced bowler.
Thin margins, and I think why they show, I think they're showing. I think on TV, Jamie Overton's 37 of 16 versus RCB.
Yeah.
But I think the way this is happening, right? Nitish Reddy isn't really express pace. I know he's worked on his bowling. He's got like 10 kilometers per hour faster. He bowled well today, 3 for 20, and almost out again. Hit to sweep a cover. So I don't know. Sorry, 2 for 20. Technically, I was thinking that okay, man, Nitish Reddy at his pace, if they treat him like the way people treat Dubey or people treat Romario Shepherd, is that a weakness, especially at the death? But it doesn't look like that. CSK is playing it calm, but it's now 28 of 9. 28 of 8 is something that I remember Virat Kohli doing this to Haris Rav at Melbourne. I don't know if Jamie Overton's going to do something special.
I think this is, I mean, the
Slower one
remaining three balls,
table.
two sixes have to go off the remaining three balls. So there's no, they have to bring it to 15 or 16. So that's the amount maximum I think Overton will chase in the last over.
Oh,
Just not
I
been
think
enough.
SRH have done very well,
Yeah. And
just
Nitish
not
has
middling
bowled
it. And
well.
I think that
This
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 is being
over
happened.
included, right? Yeah. I mean, this over
This
is
over included, yeah.
representative
He's
of
not been
how he's been bowling. His lengths are perfect. He's hitting the Yorkers, off stump Yorkers, and that's fantastic at this stage, right? Great death bowling.
just three singles of four balls, bowls a full toss, and that could be a wicket here. Oh, it's a six. It's a six. Wow, just above the
Come
CSK
on.
dugout. Nitish bowled a full toss.
Yeah. So there. I mean, I'm sorry. As I was saying,
This
he missed
actually
his length by an inch.
reminded me of the time that you were at GT. That Mohit Sharma over in the final to Jaddu nailed four Yorkers, first four balls, and then
It happens. He
the
missed
fifth
it by
ball he got hit,
missed. Yeah.
missed
That's
it
what
by
they say.
quite a
The
few
margins,
meters,
the small
just
margins.
behind the CSK dugout.
So yeah, this one also I think he missed by maybe 6, 7 inches. Low full toss. Intention was right. The low Yorker. Okay, so now
Bowling a wide
22 of
now, I
7,
think
21 of 7,
21 of 7, 20 of 7.
20 of 7.
Okay, maybe I'm watching it on TV, so you're watching it on
I'm,
stream, I'm guessing.
I'm
So we
yeah,
have a little
yeah. You're one ball ahead
six
of
and a
me.
wide.
Half a ball ahead of me. Yeah. No, I've got the wide now. So yeah.
That Simon Helmet, the SRH coach, he's just wondering
So
how did we bring it here?
one boundary here, I would say, I mean, Praful Hinge will get hit for 16 because 16 means
So
three
that's
boundaries.
19. Oh, they got two. That's 18 of the over. Nitish Reddy is clearly frustrated. He didn't
It's a
want to
tough one.
give. 2 because that would mean that Overton is
Overton
on
gets a strike.
strike. It's 18 of
But
the last over.
Overton took an early
Wow, we're having a
dash, and
blockbuster Saturday.
yeah, great,
Is this the
great,
first
great Saturday.
blockbuster?
Blockbuster Saturday. We called our stream
Great
that.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, it was the same. I think it was the last Saturday was the
Background
same
check.
combination of teams, if I'm not wrong. Just
Wait,
checking.
last Saturday we had Punjab and SRH, right? Punjab played SRH.
Was it Punjab? Oh
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
Shashank bowled and he got that wicket. Yeah, Shashank bowled. The evening game was the CSK DC game.
Okay. So three of these four teams were involved.
Yeah, so I remember even
Three
last
of.
Saturday I was doing this podcast from somewhere outside. Even
Mhm.
today I'm doing it from somewhere outside. So yeah, I can now see the
So yeah,
pattern. CSK games on a Saturday. 18 of 6 was a very tense Stephen Fleming. A lot of Hyderabad fans. They've been focusing today on one girl in the crowd, one girl with a CSK jersey on the crowd. I just get the feeling that the moment the cameraman does that, that's 2 runs off the first ball. So
Hmm.
that's 16
16 of
of
5.
5.
Oh, good running.
That's quite the acid test for somebody like Praful Hinge.
I mean, he fairly nailed that ball. To just maybe marginally off, right? So they're doing exactly what Anshul Kamboj attempted to do: was bowl right arm
Did from around the wicket.
round the wicket, darted on off stump.
Oh man, we've forgotten our comments. Today is the first comment. Steve Bye. I hate this team. Steve Bye, where is Trinai? Please, please. We haven't seen him yet.
What have you done with him? Okay, so
Yeah,
having said that, guys,
we've
whoever's
done.
watching the stream, welcome to the stream again. Please follow us on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. We do this every day at 11 o'clock, a recap of the matches at hand. And then today for a change, after many days, we've got one nail biter followed by another one. So we are at the biting our
I'm just
nails,
going to go
literally.
off air for a second.
Sure. Yeah, I got nothing to say to you. So I'm getting in Trinay, who's joining us, and as it reaches 15 of 4. So Overton took a single of a leg by. Bad decision, good decision.
Bad decision.
Wait,
Kamboj is
yeah,
the best batsman.
Kamboj is. Well, Kamboj hit a 6, but he's now got a free hit. So Kamboj has a free hit. Let's see what he can do with it. So I think it was a suicidal run, which they shouldn't have taken. But given that they took it now, Anshul Kamboj has got a
Oh,
no ball, which is being
clear,
reviewed.
clear no ball.
Yeah, I think when the leg umpire gives
I
it,
think
then it's
it's way
definitely
above waist height for.
yeah. So so Praful Hinge is well under pressure.
So what happened? Trinai? Were you already asleep?
Yeah, I gave up halfway and I thought I'd wake up for stream.
I
You didn't halfway of the after
what?
the Sunrisers innings or halfway of the chase.
10th over.
At
When
that time, you
Nanshaw
thought
started plodding along.
at that
I
time
thought
you
lost
thought there was no
first.
chance. Oh, really? It
Then
started going
first.
around according to me in the 14th, 15th over when Sarfaraz got out. Whenever he got out, I mean, even after that it was fine. But Brevis following, I think there was a tactical mistake in sending Brevis ahead of Dubey today at that point because the spinners were still on, and Dubey could have had a free hit for a bit.
They shot batted too slow as well. For a
So
200
here we have
chase,
we have a no ball, 14 of
30 for
4.
30, you just can't.
Shot batted to save his IPL career because at the end of it, runs matter, not the strike rates.
Wow, life is quite a leveler, right? Praful Hinge last game against
Yeah, it is.
RR. Well
It
bowled. He
is
bowled a Yorker, so that's just 1 run. So the no ball didn't really matter. So here we are, 13 of 3.
13 of 3.
CSK needs somebody to back that David Miller. David Miller
13
six
of 3
six
was
four
exactly
to end that
David
last 3.
Miller's. Yeah, 13 of 3 was David Miller's task. So there are a lot of patterns,
Equation.
increasingly. All right. And
It looks
for our
like today's
final
Super Saturday is essentially just
Blockbuster Saturday. Welcome to the stream, Deepak.
Hey
Where is your
guys,
faith now?
and has hit. Ah, it's gone. That's 13 of 2. CSK can't win it tonight. Unfortunate, but this game is
I knew that when the
gone
first
out
innings
of
ended.
CSK's hands.
You think so?
I knew it just this one ball, 13 of 3, and then this shot happens, not happening.
Yeah.
So
We
Liam
want somebody
Livingston
to bowl a no
justifies
ball. That's
his.
the only way CSK is winning this. And
I mean,
also
all things
Overton is
considered,
gone,
I
so
hope today is the last time I see Dubey in yellow. I'm really sorry, but yeah, I am. It might sound a bit harsh, but like I don't really have the faith anymore. So yeah, I know there's
Oh,
Prashant Veer sitting on the sidelines. We paid a lot of money for him, and he's out there. He's not gotten his chances, and he played a decent
you
knock
are
the other day. He's a
brutal.
left-hander too. So
You are a brutal man,
blood him in, man.
Deepak.
Like what are you waiting for?
Jamie Overton goes, and with that, CSK's chances also. And I agree with what Steve Bai is
Super
saying.
over.
He's saying that we literally had the game 91 of 66 with 7 wickets left. I think you'll have to now look at how brainless was Sarfaraz, Brevis, and Dubey, and because
Well,
CSK
I
need
mean,
to
see,
understand this, they are not of the same quality like RCB. They are a fairly mediocre side that has picked its way up. Can they afford this kind of a performance? And I think that's where I'm at a loss. 12 to win a one ball. This is just
Come
see,
on, no ball and
Brevis
super
plays the
over.
way he plays, right? I mean, what was so brainless about what Brevis did? That's how Brevis plays. So, I mean,
that's how
Yeah,
Brevis plays. But I think if the whole point was if you're like say David Miller, you batted till the 20th over, you took the chase, you finished it, and that's it. With that, CSK lose the game by 10 runs. It doesn't matter if it's hitting the net run rate because CSK is still at the bottom of the table. Ishan Kishan is celebrating. I think it's a great comeback by Hyderabad. Kudos to
yeah,
them. Kavya Maran is happy in the stands. But yes, sometimes when people ask to choose between the most attractive team owner, my loyalties are still with Preeti Zinta.
Most annoying you
sure.
here.
in that case, mine is still with Juhi Chawla. She still owns part of KKR, right? Juhi Chawla was my childhood crush.
Now, I don't see Juhi Chawla these days. In fact, there is this Juhi Chawla trait that I generally observe with women. Whenever you ask a question and if a woman giggles, it's like the Juhi Chawla trait where you don't want to give an answer, you just giggle away. I've seen that far too often with Juhi Chawla, but we haven't really seen her much on television since she. I don't know. It's been a few years since I've seen Juhi Chawla in the KKR dugout.
Do you think she, what's it called? Sold her stake or whatever? Was there
Yes.
something to that?
No, I think her husband, Jay Mehta, still holds the stake. Steve Bai is commenting, CSK is getting whipped
Yeah,
so
I agree with
hard.
that.
That all we are doing is we are just rating owners. That's how. That's where the podcast has gone to. We're not talking about the cricket.
Yeah.
Correct, 100%. That's exactly what's happening.
All right, let's come back to let's get the rants in. Nirvikar says, literally gifted SRH the game. Want to rant hard? You continue to pick players like Matt Short, then this is bound to happen.
100%.
Who do they play
Well,
instead of
actually,
Matt
as
Short?
By
line
the
on
way,
this,
whenever we pick match shot, CSK has never won. Did you guys? I mean,
That's
I'm not
twice.
trying to attribute
he
him
played
to
two
That's like
loss,
games.
but
two games,
Yeah.
That's a
my
that's a
only
sample
memory
size
of
of two
sample
match
size
shot
games.
of two.
is okay.
Just
Yeah,
give
man,
me
it
this one.
hurts. Those
Okay.
statistics goes out
No,
the
no,
So
no.
window. Yeah.
So I'll take Nirav's question. But it's not about who do you play instead of Matt Shot. It's like why did you pick Matt Shot at the auction? Like it's just a
yeah, well,
stupid pick, man. You could have picked Sikandar Raza for all I care. Like he's a significantly better player who offers the same skill set. What were you doing trying to pick Matt Shot? What does he offer? Matt Shot is terrible against spin. The only skill he has is at the top of the order, which CSK is already crowded. So you picked a guy who genuinely cannot fit into your team just because he bowls off spin. Like this is the kind of brain dead decision making that's leading to the downfall of the team right now. So it's pretty indefensible. Right now, who do you play? I would have played Achilles again, man. I think he would have been okay against the left-handed
yeah, but then
batters
you're a
also.
batter short, right? You're a batter short, aren't
Not
you?
really, no. We've been playing with that team for a while now. So why are we batter shot then? We're not a
We've
batter
not
shot
let
then. I mean,
Dubey
Dubey was
play.
late today. Like he might have been okay against the spinner instead. Like I don't see the point at all. Matt Short played a terrible knock that I think it made no sense, man. Like we're not a batter shot without Matt Short. It doesn't. Uh, we can
34 of
have that.
31 or something like that, right?
34 of 30.
Yeah, he's played 110, 115 strike rate in a chase of 190. So it's like
And I think what
it's
we also do is
it's
now
pretty
is a
match losing.
record. CSK hasn't beaten Hyderabad. CSK hasn't beaten Hyderabad since 2018 in Hyderabad. I think that's like a record that I just
Hmm.
observed.
Hmm. Well, so this is Steve High's
Yeah,
comment
it's
on
a,
what you said about Brevis, which is can't say that's how he plays.
Sure. See, I agree. I'm not saying that he should not take responsibility. I'm just saying even after he came in, Matt Shard was piling on the pressure at the other end after Brevis entered as well. And so you needed to score at that point, and he tried to score and he got out trying to score. I I would rather see that than see what Dubé tried to do today. Dubé barely tried to hit a boundary. Even the shot he got out for, he was trying to nudge it for a single. He wasn't trying to hit it for a boundary. He just was trying to nudge it. Every ball he was trying to nudge. And I still don't get it. The run rate was up in 11s and 12s, and he was still trying to nudge the ball. So
So
it,
Dubé
it barely
finishes with a
made sense.
131 strike rate, 21 of 16.
The couple of streaky boundaries.
No, there was a clean six in there, which of Malinga was it? Straight over long
And
on.
there was one or two there were a couple of good shots, but
I think you're a little
yeah,
hard,
one
little
six and
extra
one
harsh
one.
on Dubé. I think. I mean,
I am not
there's a
actually. I echo the sentiments of a lot of CSK fans. So I think
fair enough. I
that's
mean,
what I
like
would say. And I
I mean, the point is that nobody's taking responsibility in this team, right? Nobody is saying. I mean, nobody is doing a KL Rahul, right? Uh, whose job is it to do that? What KL Rahul did today earlier? Because I mean, before you came onto the thing,
This is
I
the
made some
exact.
comments about the mirrors of the earlier game. There were so many parallels to draw from the earlier game about the way the two matches unfolded. That but over there, KL Rahul took the game to a point, right? He actually was pretty disheartened about getting out at that point, and yet DC made it with only losing 4 wickets, right?
Yep.
And a retired hurt. So here, the one decision of Mhatre not retiring hurt, getting out the next ball. Who is advising? Like, what I'm saying is, you knew things were going wrong while it was happening, right? Because you were on the group and said easy chase at that very point. And I said, in my head, I went, spoke too soon, Deepak. Because that very ball, he had a hamstring niggle, or that one ball later. And then that whole drama which unfolded with the physios coming on, coming off, coming on, coming off. Is he going to stay on? Is he not going to stay on? It was clearly he was struggling. He should have walked off, right?
Yeah, he
I
should
mean,
have walked off. But it
Akshar
seemed like
walked
he
off with
took
a
the call.
far lesser.
It,
He's
it
18
was a
years
bad
old.
call, but it
Your
seemed like he took it.
captain is
Yeah.
there across the thing. Why are you taking such calls, right? You you don't worsen it, because now what might have happened is, I mean, either which way he might be ruled out, but you're at least, you know, you don't lose that wicket. You keep that potential wicket, because beyond that point, he was going to do what Maxwell did against Afghanistan, right? Swing for the
Correct.
bleachers and hope you connect. And yes, 1 out of 10 times it works. Maxwell had played 15 years of international cricket before he took that decision, and he was pushed to the wall. He couldn't have retired
Yeah.
her.
They had
In,
no choice at
in a
that point.
situation
So
in a situation like this, you are 65 or whatever for 1 wicket in 5 overs, going at 12s and 13s, whatever it is. You had to, you know, who's making? I mean, it's a mature, basic, sensible thing to do. Walk off, send number 4 in,
absolutely. Yeah, they
take
should have
take it,
walked off.
because the game is in control at that point. There's nothing threatening in the bowling. I don't know. And those are decisions which, you find and pick your bowlers which you're going to be hitting against.
Also, why is Dubé batting at 7, 8? Shouldn't he be
I
batting at
don't know,
5?
man.
Yeah, who's making those decisions?
He's the spin basher. He batted ahead of Safra's last game that cost us runs. But since KK are a shit, we won. This time, both Safraz and Brevis went in ahead of
Match
him.
shot.
There were spinners on.
Hmm.
Yeah, match shot. And none of them can play spin better than Dubé can. We're still keeping him for the end. I'd much rather see a Brevis one of Brevis and Short being held back in case we need more batsmen later on. Sending Dubey,
That makes
who
sense.
is your World Cup winner, ahead and seeing what he does, even if pace bowlers are on, and then let him bash spin, and then go on. Ridiculous, man.
I mean, the spinner was on, right? Like Shivang was bowling, and you could definitely send him Dubey at that point, if at all. I mean, that's the best chance of using him, right? Like he's clearly not a finisher. I mean, like at least for CSK, I don't know what he's done for India. He's a completely different player when he plays for India. But
He makes it
for
for India.
CSK,
He
he's
doesn't
never
work
been a
for us.
finisher. He's never finished a single game very effectively so far. So it's it's baffling that they are not promoting him, and it's a lot of it's poor decision making on the field and like from the dugout, from the team management as well. So it was pretty it's a pretty disappointing day to be very honest. It's just uh,
Yeah.
you don't want to see your team bottle up a chase like this. Like it was a clearly bottled chase. We were with that after that five wides from Saqib Hussain, we were 52 from 3 overs, right? It was 3.1 and he had bowled a five wides. You were effectively 52 from 3 overs. Like that is the kind of start that you don't lose a game from when you're chasing under 200. Like that's like the kind of start that you just pocket and take home 2 points from. So it's super. It's really weird that this is how it went down. And I mean, it's not you can't hold a single person responsible for it, but it was like a everybody like it was a colossal mess out there. So yeah,
There is a
We
definitely a dark mood in our podcast today, and it reflects in Trinay's lighting. Um, but on that note, we've almost hit 100 people in our stream today. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to Cow Corner Dugout, please do so on YouTube as well as follow us on Instagram. I'm sure you've already following Karthik on Twitter or x.com. On that note, I think we're going to bring up the narratives of the match. And over to you, Karthik. Take us through, what do you think was the storytelling of the game?
Well, so Trina and I actually spoke about this like an hour back, and I remember I was just going out for dinner. I'm on a drive out, and drive out from Bangalore, and Trina was like, "I'm very sure that Ruturaj Gaikwad and what is that? Sanju Samson are going to finish this game today." I very nearly made them my fantasy captains, but I didn't. But his whole point was they have a great average against Sunrisers, so today will be a thing. But I don't think it even went there. And I know Trinay,
famous
these are
last
like
words.
slides that you prepared while famous last words, exactly. Famous last words, thinking that wow, CSK is going to finish it, knock it. For a while, even while having dinner, I thought CSK. The only question is, will we finish it in the 14th over or 15th over? How can we get above RCB in the net run rate? And I'm
Oh
at
my
that
God.
point where I remember Kangana Ranaut saying, yeah, or I think it was Masan, um, Vicky Kaushal saying, "Abhi, ab ye dukh khatam nahi hota." That's exactly how I feel right now. You had an opportunity to win and you just fucked it up so badly. And I think the feel, and I think one of the other points is that CSK does well against shit teams, or CSK does well against teams that underperform. And today, clearly, SRH found their mojo towards the end. Like DC underperformed, CSK won. CSK again won that other game in between. So it's been quite a journey from last Saturday to this Saturday. Last Saturday, CSK gave hope and reminded of RCB's nag strategy of inflate deflate. They inflate hopes last Saturday. They've deflated hopes this Saturday. So that's I think one of the slides that Renee had performed had put to see that and Renee, do you want to take this forward in terms of
I
what were
think I'll
your
take over here.
observations in terms of
Yeah.
Sunrisers openers?
I think Deepak will love this slide. He
I
didn't
love
like
this
match shot's
already.
inclusion, and neither did I. So the two dots in the middle, it's Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head against slow left-arm bowlers, aka Akil Hussain, who was on the bench today. In the IPL, they cannot hit either of those bowlers or those types of bowlers. They're really bad against them. Head strikes at averages like 16 with a strike rate of 110, and Abhishek strikes at 130 with a similar average. So they are really bad against slow left arm bowling, and we had one in really good form in Akil Hussain.
Yep.
It's, Instead of that, we brought in a shit off spinner, and these two absolutely love off spin. If I'm not wrong, shot was 40 of his 3 overs, right? Abhishek took him for 5 overs in one of them.
Short bowled 2 good overs, and then Ruturaj thought, "Hey, I have an amazing bowler on my hands," and gave him a third, threw him to Abhishek, and then Abhishek was just like, "This is exactly what I was waiting for," and passed him for like 20. He went for 24 or something in that third over, so it's just like it was absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
So,
and
I mean,
these two absolutely love off spin as well for whatever dumb reason. They're really weird and they love off spin. And
see,
match shot isn't even
this makes
normal
me
off spin.
question, thank you so much for putting this slide here, but it just makes me question. Like, why does the CSK management not know this? Like, do they not have analysts out there? Do they not have data that they can see and make these decisions? In fact, we did a similar mistake last year, I remember, against Nitish Rana, who's amazing against topspin. And we threw Ashwin against him, and he just smashed Ashwin left and right, and we lost that game there itself because Rana just smashed him. It's the
But it's
exact
an
same
old,
mistake again.
it's a standard belief that left arm spinners don't bowl to left-handers. That's against what they call the matchup, quote unquote, right?
Yeah,
But
but
against
So it
these
has to be an
left-handers,
away turning ball, notionally. Not that Akil Hussain turns the ball either way, but
exactly.
he generally gets the ball to swing away from a left-hander, if at all.
He swings the ball. He swings the
Yeah,
ball. Exactly.
he swings.
And so, see, the point is you'll have to look beyond traditional data to actually understand matchups a little bit better, right? It's not about just thinking that every slow left arm, every left hand batter is poor against off spin, or every left hand batter is very good against low left arm. And it's the same for the bowlers. Akil Hussain actually has better averages and strike rates against left arm batters, right? So he's actually really good against them. And so you're not
Yeah,
using data, right?
I
You're not even
mean,
looking at the data, I
this
think.
this is this is level. This is data 101. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, yeah, this is
no
basic.
question. This is as basic as it gets, and
I think this
if you
probably
are
took Trinay like 4 minutes. So
If an 18-year-old living with his parents can find this out, why can't a team with God knows how many crores pull up something even more advanced than this? Like, this is
there's the
ridiculous.
Instagram
okay, one
story.
second, one second, one second. I want to pull you on full screen, and then you say this. Hang on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need that. We need this for the Instagram story.
Go for it. Repeat.
If an 18-year-old can pull this on his own, why can't the Chennai Super Kings team, who has God knows how many crores, pull even better data than this and use it? Because this is probably the worst matchup they could have tried. They bowled rubbish off spin to two guys who love off spin, and they had an informed left arm off spinner who they benched. And these two hate left arm off spin. So what was the matchup here? I don't even get it at this point. And Hussein got
Well done.
Abhishek out in the T20 World Cup, right?
Hossein got him out. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Repeat, repeat, repeat. Full screen.
What? No. That's
Repeat.
all on the slide. I have exhausted my quota for the day.
Great points, Trinay. I think that's very elementary mistakes, and CSK can't afford to do some of these mistakes, especially when you know that you're a subpar side that is trying to find its way up. But that said, I'm on a road trip and I'm about to, I have an early morning drive that's there. So at this point, I'm going to take leave. The three of them are going to come and, of course, finish what is narratives from this game as well as the previous game. But till then, see you, all of you. I'm just hoping that the three of you are going to entertain, and then I think we're going to hit probably 150 or 200, waiting to see that.
Okay. Should we move on to the earlier game? Because I felt
No,
that
no.
was as
Shall
nail
we take this
biting as.
question? Shall we take this
Shall we
question from
take this
Sin
question?
Uploader?
Yeah, we should. We should.
We should.
Do you want to take it,
Okay.
Trinay?
Yeah, I think
Since you are the resident CSK analyst, unpaid but overqualified apparently.
see, they used Salman Ali Agha, Roston Chase, and someone else against him against
Markram.
Abhishek in the T20 World Cup. Sorry?
Markram.
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 Yeah, Markram. Those three, okay, Chase is a test bowler. Markram bowls very often. And so does Salman Ali Agha, right? All of these three are test bowlers. They can dart it in, and they have good control on their line and length. Matt Shot is none of these things. He had three half trackers in his first 2 overs, which Head and Abhishek somehow did not put away, which really surprised me. So there is a difference between an off spinner who can get Abhishek out and Matt Shot. If you had like an Ashwin level off spinner, it makes sense, but they didn't. They just saw the tagline, right arm off spinner, and they brought him in because there were two lefties in the crease. absolute baseline and pathetic if you ask me. But good point, scene uploader.
Yeah. I was actually going to talk about that point because I know that this happened throughout the T20 World Cup. But I mean, there are some, you need to understand that there is a form aspect to that, like that
Yeah,
he was just being
he was
really
coming
bad
off
during the T20 World Cup.
after having lost. I
He was
mean,
just
whatever.
having a very poor form,
In
and
no, he was
normally
also, I think,
previous
COVID or something, right? What did he have? He had some
he had
viral
some
fever
high
or some shit.
fever or something like that.
Yeah,
And even prior to the T20 World Cup, he was bashing off spin. Like it was just
yeah.
that period in the T20 World Cup where he was just struggling to it. So it was
And
just a
he
weird
played 2 games when he was
anomaly.
sick, and he was out to off spin in
Huh.
2 of those games.
Yeah,
Ah.
exactly.
And
So
those
yeah,
games.
it's the,
So Nirvikar is
thought.
venting. I never thought they had a great squad, but I also never thought they will be unwatchable. There is no excuse for this. They had extremely poor and extremely frustrating to watch. Literally no plans, no planning, scratching my head. Nirvikar, you are one of three people on this stream at least who are the other two on the screen also are feeling this way. And
Yep.
I don't know, man. All I can say is, keep being a fan because it's a great feeling.
Nope.
I don't currently honestly have that feeling because I'm not really attached to one team or emotional about one team. But I think it is a good
It's
feeling
a
to
good day
be
to wear the
supporting.
Delhi Capitals cap.
Well, it yeah, I've been wearing it since the afternoon. Um, but yeah, I mean, don't go and stone pelt the opposition fans. That's all I can say. Don't become a hostile fan who just because you've lost you start taking on the opposition. But it was nice to see there was a lot of bonhominy in the ground amongst the fans. There was a fair mix of orange and yellow, and it was a lot of fun. I think that this is a good reflection of how matches should be played, with the fans behaving well and enjoying both um, both sides' performance because it was a little disappointing, honestly. So I'm going to go to the first game now. I think what was very disappointing was, yes, it was a complete RCB supported game, but there was pin drop silence when there was a DC boundary or a wicket. Pin drop, like there was, it doesn't. I've not. It's not something I've heard in any other. Like there's some support, there's some appreciation for sixes, even if it's against your team, right? It's happening at pretty much every ground, even at Cake, even at Eden Gardens. It's happening at. It happened today when, the whichever team is hitting sixes, there is cheering. But there was the shocking silence.
And the weirdest part is RCB fans have turned on KL Rahul, who is one of the state's most accomplished cricketers, who's I think like he's played for India, he's represented the country, he's represented your franchise, he's done all he can. You didn't buy him back. That doesn't mean he's a bad cricketer or anything. And it's his ground, man. He's played there all his life. Why shouldn't he act like he owns it there? Like they've just turned on him. I don't see anybody who's even like cheering him on or anything like that. It's super weird to watch that you don't support your own like your homeboy, right? Yeah, it's that was that was the most disappointing part for me because I thought Rahul would get a little bit more support in Bangalore.
Yeah, well, let's go through the narratives of that game. Trina, you want to take us through this?
Yeah, sure. Um,
That's the
yeah,
big
I
talking
ran
point, right?
some numbers on Miller as well. We all remember his attempted finish against GT, and then he started catching a lot of flack because of the South Africa stuff. But he actually has a pretty good record finishing in the IPL. If you look at 20th over finishes, he's been at the crease 10 times, including today's match, and he's won it for them eight times, or been on the winning side 8 times, and losing only twice. 80% win record. You take that. And from overs 18 to 20, when he's playing in the second innings and he has to finish it, he's been there 19 times, and he's managed to finish it 15 of those times, only with 4 losses. And today was pretty good, right? I mean, we can all ignore the
Yeah.
It was
fact that.
excellent.
Sorry.
And I'll tell you on going on a statistic which falls in the category of I don't know it's true because I don't have the data in front of me, but I believe it to be true. I think Tristan Stubbs is on a similar rate. If Tristan Stubbs takes the game to the 20th over, he's winning it more 8 times out of 10. Like I don't know if you've done this, but I have a feeling because I've been watching Stubbs over the last couple of years, and he slows down till I've said this earlier also. He completely slows down. If he's there in the 15th over, he's just doing a runner ball, taking it deep. And I think they
Yeah.
believe he's always finishing it in the 19. So today it happened to be Miller, but it was
Yeah.
Tristan Stubbs on the other side, who did okay. I mean, it's whatever, right?
Actually, earlier we spoke about, before we move to the next narrative, we spoke about how KL Rahul was the one who took the responsibility, right? But today KL Rahul was the aggressor. He hit it like 170 or something. Tristan Stubbs yet again was the guy who took the responsibility. He played 60 or 47, man. Like he was there, he stuck through. He knew that the run rate was actually manageable.
Yeah.
So he stuck through and he took it till the end. It may have gotten out of his hand. I feel like he should have batted a little bit faster. But the
Yeah.
guy who took the
So
responsibility today was
I think
Stubbs.
what happened was that the run rate was, the asking rate was never more than about 10.2 is when it
10-ish, yeah.
till the 15th over, right? So at 15 over mark, they need 46 or 5 of was it something like that? And then suddenly there's two good overs, one by Bhuvi and one by
Hazelwood.
Hazelwood, correct. So there
Yeah.
was, I think, 3 and then 4, and then so it becomes 37 of 3 overs. Then it starts looking tough, but then you still know if Stubbs and Miller are at the crease, then they're going to get it done. But then it happened, there was another good over, right?
I
Then I
think they
think
knew. I think they knew the
they knew
last over
one
was
week overs
going to
coming. Yeah,
be.
they
They
knew
knew that
one
the
week
week
overs
over was
coming.
coming exactly. So they knew it's
Yeah.
either it's Shepherd or it's going to be a
Suyash,
spinner,
Suyash, yeah,
which is both in their
yeah.
wheelhouse. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I think they so similar thing. I mean, so it was a similar pattern to what happened with CSK in the second game, because there was a 60 of 6 overs is still well within your wheelhouse. It's just that they still had that 1 week over, 1 or 2 week overs, right? Which was in this case Praful Linge's last over. But the fact is that they didn't keep wickets in hand, right? They didn't
yeah,
take it deep. I think they were started losing wickets far too early, and then that kind of derailed them, because again, that's wickets in hand is what RCB also missed out on, right? To 29 of the last 5 overs is, come on, that's like, that's not happened in 19 years of IPL, that 5 overs is going for just 29. The last five
yeah.
overs of inning. However, the good the bowling is, and yes, the DC was good, but I can't say they were that good.
They
There was
weren't
one good
that good.
over
Yeah,
from there was one good over from Akshar, I think, which was the 15th over. There was a good over from Mukesh, which was the 16th or 17th over. Good over as in the sense they were steady without giving a boundary. So, but they were still going for sixes and sevens. But suddenly, there were. I think the entire pattern of the RCB batting was, there was a boundary and then nothing else. Right? There were two dot balls, follow
no,
boundary, and
they
then
couldn't touch Natarajan, by the way, in that
yeah,
over that he bowled. Like he went
yeah,
for 2 runs, I think, in that 18th or 19th over. So like
yeah.
he was untouchable in that over. So it was
Yeah. And on hindsight,
like
if he
they
had
just
had
struggled.
more, I mean, if he had bowled a couple of more, they might have not finished with 175
Yeah.
potentially. I don't know. But yeah, carry on. Should we carry the next narrative, which is the
Yep.
story
Karun
on
Nair.
Karun Nair?
Yeah, is he running out of chances? Because we saw him back in the test side. He got 4 out of 5 tests in the England series, didn't make any runs, and then was omitted. He had a pretty decent IPL season last year, but again, they have so much quality that they didn't give him a chance. And when he did get one, he holds out for 4 or 5. So, do you think this could potentially be, his downwind or his?
So he has come in after Nitish Rana got 4 games, right? Effectively, he's replaced Nitish Rana in the squad, in the 11. I think he'll get a couple more. And then they might turn to Abhishek Purel.
My
Because
hot
they have.
take is he shouldn't have gotten this also.
You think so?
Yeah, it should have
Abhishek
been
Purel.
Abhishek Pur. I think Nitish
Right.
Rana shouldn't have started either. I think Paral should have just walked into this side. So it's actually weird that they tried Nitish Rana in the first place and he was getting exposed and not able to put it off. And now they've gone to
But again,
Nair without ever going.
we discussed this in the CSK game, right? I mean, obviously Nitish is coming in with a lot of runs behind him, and when you got 3 people for one spot, what you do is you see the background and you see what they're doing in the net. So obviously Nitish and everybody must be performing well in the nets, and it's just that you get out, right? So
No, I think
Matthew
Abhishek
shot,
Paral has done well at number 3 for them. Like even both at
yes,
opening and at number 3, he's done reasonably well. He's done
yes,
spectacularly well, to be honest. And he's also a
yeah,
left-hander who kind of
yeah,
breaks up that top 4 between Rizvi, Rahul,
yeah.
and Nisanka. He brings a left-hand option. I just don't get it. I just don't get why even try Nair without going to an Abhishek Paral unless he's injured or something. Like that's a pretty baffling move,
Do
to be honest.
do you think they're better off bumping everybody one notch and then bringing in Ashutosh at the end? which is what they did in one game. Was it the last one where the first wicket didn't fall for a while, right? So I think the opening
I think
partnership.
it's a bit too early for all of those batters to come in if you push them up a notch, right? Like if you think about it, Rizvi at number three feels a bit too high.
No, so I feel
Stubbs at
Rizvi
number
at
four
number
feels
three.
okay.
Rizvi at number three, if they get a 40-50 run partnership, right? So
Then
that
it's
then,
probably
so
okay.
that I think that's what they did with the CSK chase, because I think Pathum and KL got off to a bit of a start, right? Was it
Correct.
30-40
And
run opening partnership, and then
yeah, they got
then
a really
and
good start initially.
then they sent in Rizvi at three.
It didn't
Three
work
out of
for
four.
them, so I
Hasn't
think
It
really
they've
didn't work
gone
worked
for them.
in
back
the
Yeah.
first
to
three
what
games.
So
works.
Rizvi's,
So
yeah. No, I think because
So
today's first wicket fell in the first over, right? So that so they decided to send in a batsman ahead of Rizvi.
correct. Yeah,
But yeah,
I think it makes sense.
Stubbs as an anchor is actually not a bad option. He's a proper test match quality bowler. Has I think sorry batsman, and he's got 100 or two in subcontinental conditions, right? He's got test match hundreds.
Stubbs can bat anywhere from number three, number four to all the way down to numbers five, six, right? Like he can
And
bat
call off
any of
spin and
three, four,
wicket.
five, six, I think. Yeah, he can
he
be
was
any
a
of three,
number
four,
three
five,
number
six.
holder. Now he bats
Yeah.
5-6.
Huh. So like he
Yeah,
can
I
bat
think
anywhere.
South Africa also I think resolved to finally Vian Mulder is now their number three. They tried Stubbs at three also.
Better than Ollie
In
Pope.
Test cricket, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
test.
Yeah. That's a complete mess, man. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, yeah, from for a T20 perspective, I think he can still bat anywhere between three to six. So like Stubbs is high quality and he can pull that off. But I think yeah, it should be. Uh, I still think Porel should start for them. Like it's not really making that much of sense. Sure, you tried Rana, which is okay, but if you have to fall back, you have to fall back to the guy who was very successful in that position. Unless Nirav, like you said, they want to push everybody up and bring another Ashutosh at the end.
So I think that's I mean I would my take on this is that if they're trying a Karun Nair, then they have to give him 3 games. So it's only fair, right? You get out. I mean, today it wasn't like he got out to a great ball or a bad shot or anything. It was one of those things which happens when you're trying to, attack, right? You hold out. I think he hold out a third man, right? That's how he got out. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I didn't watch his dismissal, so I'm not sure. But yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things which I mean, it was like half
No, see,
few
I,
inches
I
away.
like Karun Nair as a player. I don't think there's any problem with him batting in that lineup. That's not the thing. I just don't think he's up there in the picking order when you've got an Abhishek Porel who's also a
I feel
left-hander.
Abhishek's ceiling. I mean, Karun Nair's ceiling is a lot higher than Abhishek's. I don't. I always see
So,
that can a top order batsman get you 100 or 45, 50 balls, and I don't see Abhishek Porel doing that ever. Like at this point, right? So which is why I feel that Abhishek Porel, yes, he's a good plug somewhere on a leaky batting lineup. This is not a leaky batting lineup. Pretty much everybody scored runs so far. They, it's just. And honestly, if you look at the points table, and I'll bring that up. If you look at DC, they're sitting at fifth with 6 points with 2 reds, right? Two matches, which, well, you might argue that CSK match they would never going to win, but I believe that that's a match they could have won. And then there's the other loss is the David Miller single loss, right? So DC are not far away from being table toppers at this point, I feel. So I think the bowling is clicking, the batting is clicking. It's just stringing together one or two more results and they'll be okay. So I think this kind of a lineup allows you to play Nitish Rana for 3-4 games, give him a go. Not working out, give Karun Nair 3-4 games, because it's one hole you're trying to fill. It's not reinventing your batting lineup. It's not like, okay, let's try this, try that, right? And one game they tried Samir Rizvi at 3 as well, which was a game where, so I think that's still not a bad option, given that there's an opening partnership of, takes 4-5 overs in, then you send in. So Samir Rizvi's entry point should be 5th or 6th over. And again, today he got a good ball. So he's a good player. He's shown great form. Almost got 100 already. He's a good kid. I think good promising middle order batsman. When he's scoring well, he looks really good.
I think DC can do well with a quick starter at number three is what I feel. And Rizvi is not a quick starter. If you've seen him bat in these games, he's not a quick starter. And so if you give him that cushion of like, let's say another a quick starter at a number three, and even if you have Stubbs down there, Stubbs is also not a quick starter, right? So like you need one guy who's gonna come in there and break that monotony of not having some people who
The
just are
Matre.
very quick to get out the blocks. The Matre, exactly. So I think that player can be an Abhishek Porel, and that's why I think that would be a much better option for them, unless Nair decides to do that. Like Karun can do that, I think I've seen him do
Yeah,
that, but.
he's done that
Uh,
against MI
but
last year. He
a
was
left, you
really, really
also
good.
have a left-hander advantage, so I think like
Yeah.
they should probably try that.
So DC currently has two lefties in the top seven, Akshar and Miller. They could do with one more. I mean, it's not terribly a bad idea. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the first game? Did you actually watch it, or because it was a nail biter? There was, I mean, DC made it a nail biter. It
They
looked
made
like
it a nail biter, yeah.
a nail biter. I think playing as an opposition team in Chinnaswamy is the toughest thing to do. That crowd really
Yeah.
puts pressure. It really like they're the it's a very very hostile crowd. So I think DC did well. Um, and
I think a few things that I mean I saw most of the game. I didn't watch the entire DC batting innings, but I watched most of the game. I watched all of RCB's batting, and I thought I don't know, there's something seems to be up with that. Jitesh Sharma was struggling a lot, man. I just thought like that was actually a big downer for them. He scored 14 of 20. I don't think I've seen anybody in the league score that badly coming in at number six, and that was actually the big difference, right? They were about 15, 20 runs short for sure. The pitch was playing a bit slow. It played a little bit better in the second half, but he was just struggling a lot, and I
I'm
think.
just trying to
So
find the stats on he. There is a stat on him which is struggling quite a bit. It's going on for a while.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's getting shielded with this kind of a lineup. You know,
Yeah.
being one before
I,
or after
I
Tim
I
David.
think I think what's been happening is because that top four has been so good, right? And because Rajat Patidar has been coming in and smashing everything in sight. That
And Tim
is,
David.
yeah, and Tim David to follow, who's gotten that cushion also because he's come in pretty good situations most of the time. He's pretty good today as
Absolutely.
well. But I think it's that 6, 7, 8 is getting hidden a little bit by the performance of the top four and probably Tim David as well. And today, when they got exposed, I think none of them could really perform. It seems to be like that little bit of a worrying sign for if at all there was an Achilles heel in RCB's overall lineup and that whole attack, right? I think that's where it's going to be because
So
that seems to
Jitesh
be,
Sharma versus Pace in IPL 2026, 22 runs of 29 balls, five
oh my
dismissals.
God, that's
That's worse than
that's
Rutraj.
bad.
So yeah. So he did score once. I think he got a spinner away for a six in one of the games. I can't remember which one.
No, last game he played really well against spin. I'm not sure who he hit. He hit
Yeah,
some spinner in the last game. I don't know which
yeah.
one it was.
But
Yeah,
so against Pace, so 14 of 20 is his lowest in T20s where he's faced a minimum of 20 balls.
got it.
So
Last game,
it,
I
but
think he was up against Digvesh Rathi, who was bowling really badly,
yeah.
so he smashed him. But yeah, everything else he's been struggling.
So that is one chink in RCB's armor, which teams have obviously now going to discover. And I think this round the wicket Yorker on legs on right arm bowler bowling Yorkers around the wicket, doesn't matter the line, leg stump, middle stump, off stump, is Tim David's weak spot. They showed it up. I mean, it kept today. Whoever nailed it had him struggling. So Tim David's also like not. I mean, what was his final numbers? See,
26
26
of
of
17.
17. Uh, I mean, reflects better than he actually because I didn't think he batted that well. Yes, he got
Yeah,
away that 1-6 early in his innings and three boundaries. I don't even remember where he hit. But if he was getting it back of length, then he was. So they spent a lot of time, all batters, including Krunal, who came in little later, and then the other guys who came in, everybody, Vasek, everybody who came all the way through. They spent a lot of time waiting for that back of length to hit over mid wicket, right?
yeah,
And they were just sitting on the back foot waiting for that to happen, and DC gave them nothing of that. I think
nothing.
that was gave them all full length balls. So full and hats off, man. There was Mukesh, whoever else bowled in that part. Obviously Natarajan,
Ingedi and Natarajan. Yeah.
Ngedi, everybody was getting that full length Yorker spot on. 4 out of 6 balls. It was fantastic stuff.
I think DC have an all-weather bowling lineup. I think they
Yeah,
actually
I think
have,
so.
like, when the pitch was slow today, Kuldeep and Akshar were like super happy
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
just took it. And then they have Lungi who's bowling well in almost all conditions. They've got Natarajan who's finishing well. Mukesh is
And yeah,
stepped up. Mukesh is bowling
yeah.
well. So they,
And Akib, I think has been a good. He hasn't got wickets yet, but I think that new ball he's controlling fairly well. So he gives them that cushion of. So he's bowled today. He bowled 3 overs in the power play, and as a result, they had the cushion of not having to bowl everybody for 4 overs. So they have actually 6 proper bowlers, right? With Akib Nabi giving them three,
that's true.
definitely,
Well, I
definitely
don't
two
think
overs in the power play.
it's not working so well though, right? Like I mean, from the games we've seen, like Akib is he being is he successful? Is he even threatening? I don't see it that way.
I,
So
I he's not leaking runs. I mean, yes, he might have gone for 2 overs for 20 odd, 20 in both the games. Today he actually bowled 3 overs in the trot. Uh, it's better than most bowlers are doing, is what like with team scoring 80 runs in a power play, which is 13s and 14s. I think one guy going for under 12 and then allowing you to not introduce your Ngidi or holding back
makes
many of
sense.
Ngidi, holding back the Natarajan, who are the good death bowlers, right? So he's allowing you not, I mean, he's compelling the batters to, well, they take him on, but which means that Ngidi is bowling one less over, Natarajan is bowling 1 or 2 less overs to allow for the
Correct.
back end. I think the fact that Mukesh and Nabi are giving them 5 out of these 6 overs is, and then therefore Kuldeep and Akshar come in with the field set, right? So that allows everybody to, I think, so I think it is important that a new ball bowler is, which is what MI, for example, if Deepak Chahar does that for them, right, everything works. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes
If
sense.
but that one factor which is not working. So today was 3 overs for 36, and I think it was his third over which went for some. So he was two
Yeah.
overs 20 odd. So these are,
I think they're backing him. I think they're backing him. They're gonna back him for a
and
few
he,
games and
I think,
see.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he went for 19 of his first 2 overs, which is not too bad when you're bowling to Kohli and Salt, man.
Absolutely.
Who
2 overs 19 is perfectly okay.
Mukesh was 2 overs for 15. So they didn't have a wicket for 5 overs, right? 52 and 5 overs, which is of Mukesh and Nabi. You'll take that at Chinnaswamy without a wicket falling, Phil Salt and Virat Kohli.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
most people will take that. Most people will be happy with that.
100%. The one worrying sign that I've seen so far with DC is with the captain not bowling himself enough. And even today, he didn't complete his quota. He bowled 3 overs today. And I think he's not
Hmm.
completed quota except for one game. He's not finished his quota in any other game this IPL. So Akshar is very hesitant to bowl himself. I don't know why. And I think he's underestimating his own skill set. I think if it were another captain, he would have finished his quota every single game. So it's one thing that I
Fair
find
point.
it's kind of weird with some of the bowling captains that they feel like the others will probably do better than them. And but yeah, his batting has not come out really well either. But yeah, his bowling,
Today he
I
batted well.
think
Today he
is
batted well till he got a
today he batted well
boundary.
again because he got a really good spell today. He bowled well and that showed in his batting, right? I think he needs to trust his own bowling a little bit more. It was a little odd to see that he's not backing his own bowling. And yeah, I think that was a slightly weird thing that I've noticed so far. He bowled 3 overs in the first game. He bowled four in the second game, but then like he's not
So
been consistent at all.
So today
Three in
he
the next
bowled
game.
over number 10. 10th was his first over, and then he bowled for the 14th over. So I think his bowling the 16th over was, I think he pushed himself to bowl it, and actually that was the game changing over. He got
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
he got he got like, I think that was the over to Jitesh, which sorry, the wicket fell and then Jitesh came in and then just dotted it up for the rest of
That
the
was the
over.
over he got David out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
that
that
over
that's a
and then
huge change, right? Yeah.
uh, so yeah, I agree with you. I mean, also it's when you have 6 bowlers and one of them is bowled up 3 in the power play, one bowler will have to be bowled short, right? So I think
Hmm.
he's trying his best to juggle them. Today, even Kuldeep bowled short. I think in Chinnaswamy, you assume that it's better off with the faster bowlers than the spinners. I guess it'll depend on the wickets they play in, right? So given a choice as a captain, I will prefer to bowl faster bowlers at Wankhede, Chinnaswamy, Delhi, certain of these
Fair,
Golden
fair
Caps.
enough.
So I guess when you have a quality spinners, then you want them to bowl, but your fast bowlers are also delivering quality, correct?
I think yeah, that's an attack of riches. So probably that's why he feels like it's okay for him to not bowl that full quota. Oh, it's they're in a good position. I think the middle order is the wonkiest part of it, but I think the finishing David Miller and a little bit of stability from Stubbs is helping a lot there. So uh, let's see. I think they're not punching above their weight. They're punching right at their weight right now. So let's see if they continue to do that and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
To depend
I'd
on.
put them as dark horses at this point,
Hmm.
only because I feel they could have very well been on top of the table with little
Yeah.
smarts and couple of things right. So how the hell did DC Miller get Miller for base price, man? Because see what happens is, and I think Tina, this is your next studying thing. When somebody retires from international cricket, how well do they perform actually in the leagues? So there's a case study I want you to do for people like Nicholas Puran, for Heinrich Larsson, for David Miller, for
Miller
people like
hasn't retired, right?
he hasn't,
Yes,
No. Miller just played the World Cup.
hasn't he? Didn't he announce it after the?
no, I
No,
don't
no,
think
no.
so.
I think what
So
has
he's
been
playing
announced
only.
is South Africa deciding to move on from him, but which is
Okay,
also seems to be a bad call, by the way. So he's not retired and he's
okay, so
playing well.
very
What do you
strange.
mean
Okay,
South Africa moving on from Miller?
it's like they
You'll
Faf du
see.
Plessis hasn't retired either, but they've decided that that's it. We are
No,
moving on.
like you if you see the recent trends, the recent games, and what I'm hearing is they're moving on from Miller and they're gonna
Yeah,
back
so
the other players that they have.
QDK is a question mark because he announced his retirement and then said I'm coming
And
back.
then he came back.
So just check. There are these people who've retired. Trent Bolt, I think, has he
Bolt.
retired or has he? I don't think he's announced his retirement, but he's not taking the New Zealand contract.
No, New Zealand
Hmm.
have something called a casual playing contract for Williamson,
If they
for
ever
Bolt,
wanted.
and for like a
Yeah.
3 or 4 others. But I don't know how seriously the players nor the board take that
Well,
because none of
Bolt
those
is
players would
playing
take.
6 leagues in the year, right? So he's playing
Yeah,
a month and a half in different countries. Um,
Bolt wasn't in the World Cup, was he?
no,
Bolt
I
wasn't
think
in
I
the
think
World
they have moved on
Yeah,
from.
so I think that he's kind of call time on his career then. I don't think he's coming back then.
Cup. Yeah, I think
If you
he
don't
can
play the
come.
World Cup, what else are you going to come back for?
Yeah.
Fair.
So let's check on these because I have a feeling Puran is struggling since he announced his retirement, which was about 1 year
Yeah.
ago this time.
No, he announced it 2 years ago, and then last year, halfway through last year, he was really good, and then he
Fair
became
enough,
shit.
but what happens is like unless you're playing those 6 tournaments a year, are you getting enough nets time against quality bowling? If you're not
Puran's
in a
playing all of the leagues, right? He's playing even the
he's playing.
trashiest leagues.
He played some T10
So
league and
Puran is
Reeboks.
playing IPL. I don't think he's in the 100. He's in
He's
MLC,
playing like the IL
IL
yeah,
T20,
T20, he's in the
Major League,
MLC and
SA20,
the
US,
he's in some
T10s,
T10 league.
ILT10, Caribbean
T10
Premier
leagues,
League. So
all
at
of this
least
stuff.
five or six of these he plays. But then, where are you getting quality bowling to play in the nets?
You think the
Or
West Indies are getting quality opposition? They play UAE, they play Qatar half the time, Nepal, who are actually pretty decent, but on
Yeah,
the
they lost to
franchise
them.
level, they might be good.
Nepal beat them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
No,
I'm just saying that's what. So I
I
don't know.
also have like I mean with Puran, right? Like I mean I don't know how to put this, but I, he's I don't know. I think I feel like he's in all these other leagues for all the wrong reasons, and I don't think that he's really giving it his all for his cricketing career in a more honest manner right now is what I feel. It may not be the nicest thing to say, but I don't see him putting in the hard yards, or I don't see him doing it out of love for the game right now. So uh,
You think it's
it's,
just
I
money? Like,
mean,
how do you make a judgment like that? I'm asking just generally. I'm not. I don't know. Like, how do you know that a person is playing for the love of the game or?
no, there's been a fair share of talk about him playing in all the shadiest leagues and being part of the shady stuff. So
Okay.
it's not it's still see it's still talk. It's not like it's been proven or anything like that. But it's there have been clips and there have been a few different instances of things not looking very right. And I hope it's not true for the sake of the game, but just looking at how he's playing, it doesn't look like he's in it for the game right now. So it might be a harsh judgment right now, but uh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I hope I'm proven wrong, but that's what I feel right now.
See, in his formative years when he was 17, 18, 19, 20, I don't think he played any first class cricket because the
Maybe.
West Indies system, they isolated him, right? I don't know if they kicked him out, but he was not in a very good system. And then he had mentors who helped him come and then break into the white ball team. Then I don't think they paid him fairly. They threw the captaincy on him when he was too young, wasn't ready for it. Then he gave it up and then he said, F off, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna.
paid him fairly is a subjective thing because see there is that much the board can afford, right? So they've had issues forever, and yes, there are problems with that board even making the payments they promised. Uh, but which is why that board is the one which, from back in the 60s or even earlier, they allowed their players to go and play in wherever they could make money. So you had tons
The
of West Indies.
Scottish county system,
uh,
right?
the British county system. I mean, you had two players playing. I mean, through the 80s, and from whenever I started observing, you had Richards, Ground Drainage, Desmond Haynes, Malcolm Marshall, um, Joel Garner, Patrick Patterson. All these guys were playing county cricket properly, like full seasons, right? So that's
Ghana
how
was
they.
bored to death for some stupid county side, right? Which is why he retired early.
So that's. I mean, they weren't. You play for your. I mean, pre 1992, even it was true for India also. You couldn't make a living playing Test cricket for India or international cricket for India. They all had separate jobs, right? Pre 1992, 93 things started to change around. 10 years after we won a World Cup. So it was true of most other countries, which is why you always had the opportunity. They would always try and make for no, they'll try and find some way to earn money,
Yeah.
right? So Indians had jobs because Indians had issues of foreign exchange and whatever, so they couldn't go abroad. The one Ukka Dukka player would go abroad, literally. Gavaskar went, Shastri played for some time, Sachin played in the 90s for Yorkshire. But largely Indians weren't allowed to play. And then money is something people pay for. Yeah, play for now. Nobody looks at how long can my international career be, because playing for international country is a pittance compared to what you'll get paid playing for in IPL team. Potentially, like your peak. You have a higher ceiling playing for IPL and then four other things.
Absolutely.
So for except for India, South Africa, Australia, and England, the players are not making money playing for their countries.
I don't think
Really,
I
they
don't
can't
think
make
they
a
put
living.
South Africa on that list.
South Africa now the players can make a living just playing. I mean, Temba Bavuma can make a living. That's if you know what I mean,
Hmm.
right? So who plays one format or one and a half formats? Just playing that, he can make a living, like a respectable living, right? Remember, so if you are one of the top 15, 20 professionals of your discipline, right? You should be earning top 20% of any other field. Sorry, if top 20 professional, right? So a top 20 cricketer in the country should earn as much as the top 20 industrialist or a top 20 engineer or whatever, right? Because it's a skill which is a premium skill, elite level skill,
Yeah.
and it's only now
Yeah.
happening with cricket.
See, it's a
It's a
gray
bit
area.
harsh on calling Temba Bavuma one or one and a half format player. Just
He's
wanted to
only, I
say
mean, he's one format for sure. The
he's
white
he's
ball, I mean,
he's captain in the ODIs, right?
yeah,
He
but I
was
don't know how
captain of
long
England.
that'll last. I don't know. And he plays as much
Fine.
as he can.
It's a little harsh, but okay. Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
two format. Okay, so, sorry.
Hmm.
Uh,
No, I just thought it was a slight dig at him, but yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, I know it, not to dig at him. He's a purist. So I meant, okay, Cheteshwar Pujara could make a
I
living. Let's put it
understand.
that
I
way.
understand. Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Who played
Makes
strictly one
sense.
format? Who else in India is currently playing one format? Rishabh Pant can make a living playing just Test cricket, right? So I'm just trying to think
Hmm.
who else is playing one format.
Ollie Pope.
Kiran,
Ollie Pope is currently not playing any format.
he's gone.
He's, but he scored some runs in the county, the first game.
Yeah, he had one innings. Crawley still hasn't made any runs, not surprisingly.
Crawley's out. Crawley's out. Tribe's coming in. Anyway,
No.
English cricket
Baz-
some other time. So 125 people. I think that's where we're going to peak today. Thank you for joining us. We have fantastic, potentially a great Sunday games as well, and hopefully two thrilling games come as we got today. There is KKR versus Rajasthan Royals, which is happening at obviously at Eden Gardens, and then there's a Punjab and LSG. So hopefully those two those two games can give us as much of a thrill as the Saturday did, and our Sunday is even better. So hopefully you'll join us, guys, and thank you for staying with us. Karthik, our main man, is apparently on the road back to Bangalore, and he was here earlier with us. So those of you who've been with us from the beginning, thank you for joining us, and those who came in midway, please make sure you've subscribed and come back tomorrow. We'll be here at 11 o'clock at night, whether the second game's finished or not, and we'll take you through what we felt um, were the talking points of the game. So good night, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Trinay.
Bye bye.
Cheers, guys. See you. Bye bye.